and welcome to my live on January the 7th. I can't believe that we are now a week into the new year already. It really is quite shocking. We're already 2 weeks from Christmas as well. So if anyone is out there, maybe you would just go ahead and in that chat box on the right hand side of your screen, just give me a little wave, tell me that you're there and where you're joining me from today. So the beginning of a new year and a new Stampin' Up! Mini catalogue, and we've not been able to share the inside of this with you up until now, but today I'm going to be using a new bundle in my card, and a new tool. We've got some mini blender brushes here, and I'm also going to pair that with a stamp set that's in the annual catalogue, as well as some embellishments that are in the annual catalogue, because we get excited about new stuff, and sometimes we can forget that we've already got some really good stuff in our stashes. I'm just going to bring the camera in a little bit more so that you can see. Also, we are in Celebration, so I will be featuring some of these products over the coming weeks, and the reason I'll be doing that is that you get these for free, and some of them are free with a $50 shop, others with a $100 shop, and as I say, I will be sharing these with you over the coming weeks. So today I decided I would do a one sheet wonder. I love doing these and I have done them in my classes, but the thing about a one sheet wonder is that you basically create your own decorative paper, and that then you can cut it up into pieces to create your card front. So I'm going to do a very straightforward one today, and it will allow me to create 4 cards, and I'm going to be using those for my thank you cards for my January shoppers. So anybody who shops with me for their Stampin' Up! Goodies over January will receive one of these cards. Right, so I'm going to start with some white cardstock, and that is, I've actually cut this down to 10 by 7.5, and that's because that will be perfect for my layers when I cut it up into 4 pieces. Hey Johnny, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping you had a good holiday trip. Now, this is 7 inches, so halfway is going, no, sorry, 7.5 inches, so halfway is going to be 3 3/4 inches. So I'm just going to make a tiny little pencil mark top and bottom, and it's 10 inches wide, so I'm going to put a mark at 5 top and bottom. Oh, hello Hilda, thank you for joining me again. I really appreciate you coming back. And then I'm going to just put a very fine pencil line to join up my pieces. Hopefully I'm not getting my head in this. So I've joined up my marks with a very fine line, and so hopefully you can see that I've got my 4 pieces. So these are going to be the 4 pieces of my card. Now I'm just going to get some paper to work on, and I'm going to be using the Artistic Mix decorative masks. These are basically stencils. And I did use, they come in a packet of 5. I used one a few weeks ago on a card I did on my share. I did this one, and this was the card that we did, which was an anniversary card for my youngest son and his wife. I made 2. I wanted to keep one for myself. So I used that particular pattern on that one. And so this time I thought I'd use a different one. And I'm going to be using this one. And it's kind of got some little stylized flowery type things, which I think will work well. Now, I said I was going to be sharing a new product, and this is one of the mini blender brushes. So let me show you the big one, and you can see the little one. So it gives you a little bit more control over the amount of ink that you want to put in. And while I'm talking about blender brushes, I love Storage Solutions. And Stampin' Up has bought this one out, which is a storage for your blender brushes. And you can get 9 in, and don't they look cute? So that's in the new mini as well. All right. Now I'm going to use Crumb Cake. It's a nice neutral colour. And as I say, I've used blender brushes before. But I'm just going to share with you quickly my method. So I always use a circular motion to pick up some ink, and I keep my finger on there just to put a bit of pressure. Now I don't want to put ink all over my piece of cardstock. What I want to do, let's make sure I'm using, is I want to put splotches, blobs, on here. Okay, so just very lightly, I've kind of got an idea in mind what I want to do with my design. So I'm going to start with putting some on each corner. I'm not putting a huge amount. I think, because what I'm going to try and do is when I've got my One Sheet Wonder, I am going to then put my greeting in that top corner. That's what I've in mind to do. So there's my starting point. And now all I'm going to do is to put some splotches of this at various points and of various sort of sizes on my piece of card. Let's put some over here. I'm not trying to distribute them evenly, but I think I'll put some down here as well. And in a minute, I think we'll see that there are different kind of depths of ink here, and I think that's going to give me what I wanted. So we're going to give that a rest. Now these brushes, I just take the ink off with one of these microfibers. I get the worst of the ink off, and then I can run that under the tap to get the ink off. Now it will never become clear or white again. This is one of the bigger ones that I have used time and time and time again. And as I say, I rinse it under the tap, I blot it, and then I let it to dry overnight. And I can use that with any ink, and it's not going to sort of come out. There's sort of a bluey green on there at the moment. You can see I've just used it over like that, and it's coming out the crumb cake. Have anybody used these brushes before? As I say, I'm just going to clean that with the microfiber and then put it back in my new container. All right. As for this mask, I would just run that under a tap and just blot it off with some kitchen paper towel, and then just store it away with the other ones. All right, so now I have got my background a bit. Now I've chosen to use, as I said, a new bundle. So this is called the Two Tone Flora, and it's two-step stamping, and that'll make a bit more sense when in a few minutes when I use them. And then this one is the Forever Fern, and I love this because it's got lots of different leaves, and it's just going to be perfect for what I want to create here. So I'm going to roll out some greens. I'm a bit old-fashioned in as much as I like my greens. I like my leaves to be green. So I've got my soft sea foam, Granny Apple Green, and I also have got Pear Pizzazz. Now, when I do a one sheet wonder, I start with the largest stamp first, and I want to use this particular leaf, and I want to try and get it sort of radiating out of each of these corners. So let's see. So I'm not specially lining it up with that piece there, but I'm kind of using there where my two pencil lines cross to pop my stem in. And what do you think about the ideas so far? I'm kind of making this up as I go along. So as I say, I thought about my colours and chose my stamp sets, but I didn't really think how I would take it beyond there. So there's my starting point. Then I'm going to move on, and I'm going to use my next green, which is Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to use a different the different next stamp. And I think maybe what I could do is bring that over like that. Let me put that there. Has anyone ever done a one sheet wonder before? You familiar with the concept? All right. Well, that's coming on nice. And then I'm going to use my next stamp, which is a small one. And I'm going to bring some through. here like this. Sometimes it can be difficult to know when to stop, but so if that's my one piece, that's the piece that I'm going to have. Okay, I'm going to stop that for now on that part. I might come back and do a little bit of back filling in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put my greeting in before I get too carried away and not leave enough room. So my greeting is to a friend that makes me smile, and it does come from the Forever Fern stamp set. So I'm going to go across the corner. Now, I believe that stamping, card crafting should be fun. So if you try to line it up and center it and make sure it's level, that can be a bit hard. So if we just place that across the corner, Joni will tell you, she comes to my classes, if you pop it across the corner at an angle, then that's what it's supposed to be. It's not, it does, you're not going to stress that it's not level. Okay, you guys still with me out there? You're very quiet. Now, this this stamp set also comes with a dotty stamp, and I love dotty stamps because by that I mean it's got lots of little dots on it, and I find that it's a great filler. So I can go in and fill in these gaps here. Don't think I need that anymore. And you can see I am crossing the lines with my pencil marks. Let's see. And I can pop some here, like that. Okay, where else can I put some? There, that needs a dot. I think we need something over there, and maybe over here, in there, maybe in there. Oh, I could just go on. I'm going to put one right in the middle there, because that corner. All right. Okay, I think I've got enough on there for now. So let's clear some space and get my trimmer out. And once we cut this up, then I think we'll see if we've got enough on there. All right, so I'm cutting this on my paper mark, which was at 5. And then in half again, which is going to be 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. So there's my 4 pieces. So that's what I mean when I say you can make 4 pieces, 4 cards at once. Like that. How about that? And a couple are sort of right-handed and a couple are left-handed. All right. So my other ink colour I chose to use was Merry Merlot. And so I'm going to layer that onto Merry Merlot. I'm only going to make one card up because all the others will follow the same sequence. So I'm just going to layer that up onto there. Like that. And I wanted another sort of reddish colour, so I have chosen to use my card base for Blushing Bride. So there's my colour combination there, which I thought was a nice combination. And I'm just going to attach those with some dimensionals. How's it going so far? What's everybody doing with their day today? Make sure I put it the right way up. I took my Christmas decorations down on Friday. I hate doing it, not because it takes a lot of work, but it just is, the house looks so sort of dull without all the Christmas decorations up. All right, so now I am going to do some decorative pieces, and that's where I'm going to use my new stamp set and die bundle. This is the two-tone Flora, and it's got stuck. I think the adhesive on the dies has just caught in there. I know, I'll use this ruler and that'll break the seal. There it is. That's because I've taken the dies off, and there we go. So we've got dies to cut out the flowers, and then there's this die here, which I will be sharing with you at some point. It cuts out a panel that would go on your card, and that and a greeting with perhaps a bow would be a fantastic, quick and easy card to do. So let's talk about two-step stamping. Two-step stamping is where you use two stamps on top of one another to build up your image. And in this case, we're going to do a couple of flowers. So I've got a scrap, and I'm going to start with the sort of outline, what would be sort of the veins of the flower, I guess. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but I'm going to do that in my darker colour. So I'm going to do this flower here. There, can you see what I mean about the outline? And then this one. Now this is the first one I did. It's kind of easy to actually see the way it goes up. I mean, that clearly is the bottom of the flower and that's the top. This one I found wasn't as easy to decide which was the top and the bottom. So I decided that I would say, okay, this is going to be my top. And I just put a tiny little bit of tape so that I would know that that's what I've decided is going to be the top, if that's making sense. It might in a minute. So I'm just going to stamp my outline again like that. And this was the other reason I chose Blushing Bride for my cardstock, was that it made a lovely flower combination with the Merry Merlot. So I've got my Blushing Bride ink. Now this is my, if you like, the filler, the bit that's going to colour my flower. And again, so I knew that it would be the top. I've got my, I've marked it as I did with the other one. Now, what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can actually see, but in the middle of this stamp, there's like there's 6 little sort of holes, and they match up with the holes that's in the center of this flower here. So I'm going to try my best to get a really good image. So I'm just going to hope for the best. Ooh, well, that's not bad. I like that. So then we're going to work with the other piece. So this is the flower filler bit, and again you should see that there's 6 little sort of stameny bits in the middle. So we're going to ink that up, and I'm going to line it up with the stameny bits in the middle of the outline, and make sure all my other bits are lined up. There we go. Let's hope that that's as good as the other one. Well, I like that one too. That's come out pretty good. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to clear the decks a little bit because I'm running out of room on my workbench here. So now I'm going to die cut those. So I've got my little mini. And the dies. So here are the 2 dies. So again, this one is fairly easy to line, find the direction, because you've got this bit that comes in here and this bit that comes in there, and you can just sort of swizzle it around until it lines up with your flower. So I'm going to use my base here and 1 cutting plate, and I am going to put it on my machine so I don't have more chance to move. And I'm just going to go in and make sure it's in a good place. And then I've got a little bit of a sticky note here that I'm going to, I'm not doing very well, that I'm going to stick this down with so it doesn't move when it goes through the cutting machine. There we go. Now I guess I could cut these both together, but to be honest with you, if one moves, I'd be really upset. So I'm just gonna, there we go, not too bad. So now we're going to do the small one. And again, like I did with the stamps, I kind of found it a bit difficult to sort of position it. So I decided which was going to be my top, and then I literally, you saw how quickly I was able to place that, because that was where near the top of my stamp was, and there's my die. So I just marked it with like a little Sharpie. There we go. And let's see how successful that was. Get rid of the scraps. Oh, brilliant. Well, I love those. So those are our two pieces. And what I had in mind was to kind of have them coming down from this corner. So it sort of looks like it's sort of tumbling. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any suggestions? Anything they'd like to add? Now my flower is a bit flat, and so I was having them play, and I've got my tool here. This is my pick your tool, and when you've got the cap on the end, it's got quite a nice rounded end here. So I thought, put it on a piece of sponge and maybe just gently in a circular motion, kind of just break the card down a little bit and sort of dome it. Can you see? I don't quite know if I can, if that's showing, but anyway, just rubbing it and making it dome. And I'm going to do the same for the other piece, like that. And then, now then, should I pop it like this with that there? Any suggestions? Anybody got any thoughts if that would work? Right, I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of my big flower. And I'm going to put it so that it kind of just hangs over the edge of the white to bring into the pink. And then put one in the middle of this one. And maybe just, perhaps I'll put two there. And then that's just a little bit higher. Now we don't have any bling, and so it is time to bring in these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Forever For Everything fancy sequins. They come in the pink, green and blue. And there's a sort of a mixture of sort of sequins and all sorts in there, golds and silvers. I'm going to use the pink one today, and I'm going to get my pick your tool out and just put a few in here. Move those to one side so I don't knock them off. Do you know, I've just looked at that and that leaf looks a bit weird sitting out there. I'm going to just gently ease that flower off there. And I'm just going to add it there. Yeah, I like that. Now I've got a little bit of adhesive there, but I am going to use my tool and I'm going to use that to stick down a sequin. Now I'm putting some tiny little dots of adhesive. I've got to try and remember where they are. And I'm just going to pick up sequins and just lay them down on my little dots of glue. Of course, that's picked up 3. Oh, there's a little gold one there. Let's pop that one there. And this one is kind of an iridescent one. That's very pretty. I'm just trying to make sure I can find my little dots of glue. And let's just take that one. I think that was as many dots of glue that I put there. Now that will take a few moments to just set up, well, when it will stick instead of coming off on my finger. I must have some adhesive on my finger there. Press it down firmly. There. Finished arguing with me. Okay. Well, I'm not going to do any more to that. I will, as I say, I've got 3 more that I can create from there, which I really like. So I hope you've enjoyed my One Sheet Wonders today. I enjoyed pulling it together once I made up my mind, colours and stamp sets and things. If you've enjoyed it, perhaps you'll go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe to my channel, perhaps you'll go ahead and do that as well. And if you've got any comments, I would love you to make any comments underneath. I love to read those. Well, that's what I have for you today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly appreciate you joining in with me, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now.